Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Nanette and I'm here for another YNAB Budget With Me session while time marches on towards my impending layoff. What date will that be, you might ask? Right now, the letter that I last got from HR has the date as October 17th, but my boss is in negotiations with HR to extend the date to either mid-January or mid-February. Either of those dates will work well for me. It'll be better for tax purposes, and it'll put a few more paychecks in my pocket, so that will be nice. I frankly am looking forward to having at least a couple of months sabbatical before I decide whether it is a full retirement, semi-retirement, whether I might be interested in taking on more full-time work. Probably not. But all of that remains to be seen, as does some budgeting remains to be done. It's been about, 6 or 7 weeks since I was able to post a video, so we've missed a couple of paychecks at least. On Monday the 1st, I had done a recording of closing out my August budget and budgeting out the month of September. And there was a technical glitch with that video, so I have decided to reenact everything that happened on the 1st. So we are here to budget out my final August paycheck, which is what you see here on the screen. The $7,770.83 that is ready to assign is the gross pay from that final paycheck. And if you've been here before, you know we always start with overspending. I only had one overspent category that's truly overspent, and that was groceries for $11.74. I will cover that with my dining out category group, which happens to still have $171.86 in it. So I'm kind of tickled that I did not use more than, just maybe a little over half of my dining out last month, and that's primarily because I am on a weight loss journey in addition to we're always on a financial journey, whether we have goals or don't have goals. Speaking of goals, we met one of my 2025 goals with this payroll. Nothing exciting in the payroll stuff. These are all standard deductions with very few, if any, changes in the midst of them. Yep, let's reset the available amounts and cover those. And then under retirement stuff, the stock purchase plan and the HSA contributions are exactly what they are every single paycheck, so we'll reset those guys. This one is slightly different. It's a little bit less than usual, and that is because we are about to meet this annual goal. So I'm going to max out my contribution of $23,500 with this $743.60 that was taken out of the last paycheck. We'll cover that overspending or under budgeting right there, and let's go visit the retirement goals. I am not currently working on the early retirement funds. My original goal was 6 months of $5,000 a month, so I've exceeded that one, and I guess I have changed the target, but that's a real stretch goal for this year. I'm not really working on that. So let's ignore that one and move right along to, I guess I have everything snoozed in here. Oh, this is month of August, that's why. But the two that I wanted to point out are I did just max out the 401k standard contribution, and then the catch-up contribution. If you're 60 to 63 in 2025, which I am, the catch-up contribution is $11,250, and I maxed this one out a little bit earlier in the year. So I'm pretty tickled that I met those two goals, also maxed out the traditional IRA, and I am roughly on track to max out the HSA contribution, although there was a small glitch with one of my February paychecks, so I'll need to cover the last $204.17 at some point. Maybe I'll get that off of my to-do list. Maybe I'll do that this month. Hard to say. It's not on the top of my priorities. So that covers all of the August. Let's see if I go into underfunded. I do not want to max out or meet the target for personal care in the month of August. For one reason, August is over. For another reason, though, this has gotten out of whack. Primarily, something weird got booked to it, and I don't care enough to worry about the extra $8.44 that are sitting there. But I have not been able to schedule the massages that I intended to schedule. When I set the category to, what do I have it set to? What is the target? What is the target? I want to say it's 45 a week. No, 40 a week. So I think what I want to do is leave it in the month of August with, I want $100 sitting there. So I'll take $100, take out the 2044, and that will adjust it. So I'm left with a balance of 100. And then what else is considered overfunded? No, this is underfunded. Okay. Don't care about the dining out. Already talked about the retirement funds. And then the tankless water heater is intentionally underfunded by 500. We'll talk about that as we go through September. That is a good segue to talk about September. So let's dive on in. We have $5,532.64 available for budgeting. And let me check something. Okay. We're going to start, I'm not going to start with the overspending because this is under budgeting. Because I am reenacting what I did on the first. There's no money that's been allocated to the groceries or the sundries, which is just household items. So let's just go through the regular process where we walk through each of the questions. First one being, what does this money need to do before I get paid again? Need to cover groceries and gas, personal care, sundries, and supplements. Already talked about, actually I think this is just what I want. I'm going to try to get an extra massage scheduled this month, if I even get one scheduled this month. So we are sitting here with exactly what I want. So let's cover the underfunding and then double check where we stand. That's good for groceries. I've got 25 left for gas. I've got a full tank right now. Personal care is a little higher than, it might not make sense for it to be that high, but I'm good with it. If I can get an extra massage scheduled, I will. Sundries is in good shape, and supplements, yep, we covered the big purchase that I just made. And I have a feeling that the rest of these, all right, we're underfunded by $36.37. So let's see if we can find where that guy's hiding. The cat. Okay, so I know I'm being weird, but I'm going to be weird because I want to. So this should be refilling up to $100 a month. It needs the $36.57, and then that should cover everything for the reality question. We can move on to stability. What larger, less frequent spending do I need to prepare for? It's saying $831.75. I don't know where it's hiding, so let's just dive in a little bit at a time. I must have used my first August paycheck to cover the, what are those? Those are annual bills. In their stuff, we need $202.76 for a combination of gifts and Christmas, so we'll cover that. And then I'm going to skip inevitable stuff for a minute. Okay, clinic costs is actually overfunded. So let's reduce the overfunding of $49.39. We're going to need that in other places. And then annual stuff is looking exactly how I want it to look. And, business stuff is underfunded by $10, so we'll cover that. But we have some overfunding. Where is the overfunding hiding? I think we'll come back and do an overfunded check later, because I don't think it's this one. And office supplies is overfunded. I am quite happy to take out the overfunding from office supplies. Okay. Good deal there. So inevitable stuffs we skipped. If we come in here, it's looking for $618.99. Yep, I'll go ahead and cover it. That will bring us up to where we want to be for home maintenance. And spoiler alert, I will probably be gutting home maintenance again for some of the renovation activity that is currently going on. And there is a little bit of a story there. That story might be better suited for another video, but I'll get into it and try to be brief about it. So what can I set aside for next month's spending? I already have the first 6 months of my early retirement funds in cash saved with an extra $3,000 cushion. I might even tap into the $3,000 cushion if I have to, between the home renovations or the home maintenance sinking fund that I want to keep at a healthy level and to finish up the renovation activity that got started. And then investments, I think I'm going to leave these on pause for the moment and wait until the reno activity is done. Once that all stabilizes, then I'll reevaluate my goal. My goal was $24,000 for the year, and I'm at $17,000. So are we already 70% of the year? Ugh. How many? We are in the 9th month of the year. So we have completed 8 out of 12, which is 67%. So I'm not going to feel behind on this one, even though I'm not going to put any money towards it in September. I suppose if I do 9 divided by 12, that's going to be 75%. Maybe I should put a little bit more in, but not this round, maybe with my first September paycheck. Then we can move on to the creation question. What goals, large or small, do I want to prioritize? Fun stuff. Always want to prioritize fun stuff. I do not need this much in fitness. What I need in fitness is a total of $180. That's going to cover a studio fee and 1 personal training session. If I have the bandwidth to do a personal training session this month, things are busy. So that is what that is. Garden supplies is overfunded, and I'm quite happy to leave it that way because I'm moving into the fall season, and I want to max out my fall and winter garden this year if I can. That's another bandwidth. That is limited. I want to keep it limited by bandwidth, not by finances. So we will overfund that as much as I feel like. Feed Me, I probably don't need to have it at $350 a month, but I'm not going to reduce it yet. Let's see how I do this month. I suspect I will still spend a little bit less because of the weight loss journey, but we'll see what happens. And then fun and adventure, I never want to put less than that $100 in there because I want to be well funded to take adventures when I'm ready to take adventures. Their stuff, I still don't have a target on my Share the Wealth category group, but I am thrilled to see that it is north of 500, so that is a good thing. Helping Hands have already been funded. I'm not funding monthly garden service, although I may do a one-off service call within the next month. So if I do that, I will need probably somewhere near $150 for that service call, and I'll take that out of home maintenance and cross that bridge when I come to it. So then we are in spendful stuff, which I could, what could I, actually I'm going to go into the all category because I don't think my filter has everything that's in that category, and I want to look at all of it right now. So let's bring it up. The tankless water heater was always part of the plan. I have held back last 500 because there was a snafu with the installation. The tankless water heater is great. I'm loving having hot water on demand. That's all great. But they were supposed to coordinate with the drywall guy to have the water damage on the wall repaired. And something went wrong. I mean, something went so unnecessarily wrong. And now there's pipes all in the way of the drywall repair that needs to be done. So my guy can't, he could do it, but it would take him 3 to 4 times as long as it would have if the coordination had happened as according to plan. So my drywall guy, my plumber is paying for his drywall guy to come out and do the repair. So that is scheduled for the week of the 15th, and I'll check back in with you guys and let you know how that's gone. That's been frankly, it's been quite a bit of a headache. In the meantime, the GFI outlet turned out to not be necessary because when they put that on, the wall that we ended up putting the tankless water heater on already had a GFI outlet that they were able to use. So we get to get rid of the electrical cost. The drywall painting that I had set aside for $500, which I guess I didn't really set it aside. I just knew that that's what I was going to set aside. That I'm going to move down underneath the unexpected plumbing issue, because right after the water heater was installed, I had a completely unrelated plumbing disaster. The downstairs powder bathroom. Oh, I hate when this happens. I will go ahead and refresh and hopefully be able to pick up where we left off, but 3356.72, that's where we're sitting. Probably going to be fine. All right, so while this refreshes, a few days after the tankless water heater was installed, the downstairs powder bathroom had a leak in the ceiling, and I assumed because of the volume of water that was coming down in that bathroom that it was a water line. But when they cut open the ceiling, there was no water line in the ceiling, and then they started cutting into the wall. There was no water line in the wall. It took a little while to diagnose it, but it turns out that there's a cast iron waste pipe from the upstairs bathroom, which it was coming from the sink, so it was clean-ish water that was coming through that waste pipe, but the cast iron waste arm had busted completely, so it was just flooding that wall with water, and it pooled in the ceiling. So the ceiling is destroyed, the wall was kind of destroyed. It must have been sitting there for a while because there was even some black mold behind the vanity when they tore it out. But they have now, yeah, we still have the same amount here, so I think we're still in good shape. They have they've replaced the cast iron waste arm. They've replaced the cast iron vent pipe that goes up into, it goes out the roof, but they just replaced it up into the attic, just so that it was a little bit less. And everything's in good shape now, but the wall and the ceiling in the downstairs bathroom is still undone. And I don't know who is going to do that drywall work. So I'm just going to take that drywall and slide it down underneath the unexpected. Boy, it just doesn't like me wanting to do that. I'll refresh it again, and then we'll pick up where we left off. Maybe what the problem is it doesn't like me deleting the GFI outlet. So let's just leave that thing alone and see. Okay, so anyhow, long story, probably longer. The drywall repair for the garage was in the realm of $500. But the plumber's now covering that one. So now this drywall and painting is for all of the interior work that needs to be done, which is in the range of $1,200. If I have my guy or the plumber's guy do it, I had a third quote that was probably about double this. I don't think I'm going to go that route. That was a general contractor, and I'm capable of subbing this out all on my own. Well, we think I am. The way things are going right now, I don't know. Maybe I'd be better off paying somebody, but I'm going to just leave this at $1,200 for right now. The unexpected plumbing issue, that repair was done in, this is a little confusing. Well, it was done in the month of, I see what has happened. I didn't get this booked properly. But I'm going to put is it going to let me move money from here? I will just move it all from, how do I want to do this? I know what I want to do. Sorry, I'm going to go backwards into August, and I am going to keep all of the reno activity down in the spendful stuff category group. So if we come in here, what we are going to find is in home maintenance, I have this guy. I'm going to rebook into stuff. Yeah. Okay, so this is going to be the unexpected plumbing issue. This is also going to be the unexpected plumbing issue. Save those guys out. And then if we come back into the plan, we will see that I broke the budget in August, sort of. We will take this money out of the home maintenance category group. I'll come back into today, so that's all been taken care of. I think we're in better shape now. So this guy has already been done and dusted. I'm going to leave it where it's sitting. I'll need to have at least $500 to cover replacing or repairing the vanity that was in there. There's it has like press board bottom and back on that cabinet, so I want to replace that with plywood and try to reuse the face frame. Sometimes trying to reuse cabinets actually costs more than replacing them, so I'll probably shop for a new one. If I can find something that I really like, I'll get it. If I can't, then I will rebuild it because it happens to match the kitchen that's right around the corner from it. So we'll see what happens. I already have quotes to replace the powder bath vanity top with marble. And then if I do that bathroom, I'm also going to do the countertop for the upstairs bathroom. Probably should do my master bathroom at the same time too, but that maybe I'd be getting carried away. And then the toilet in this in the powder bathroom is as old as the house, which was built in 1970. So I think it's about time to replace that. The innards have been replaced multiple times, but it's still kind of running, and I think it's just outlived its usefulness. And while we're here, let's do this exercise and do the HVAC system. We're going to have to cover this with the home maintenance category group. And then let's take a look at what we are left with in the home maintenance category group, which is up in inevitable stuff. So we are left with $4,000, just over $4,000. And let me take 4,000 divided by the value of the house. And that is 1% of the value of the house. I don't like that. I think that is a little bit low because if something goes wrong and insurance doesn't cover it, and I don't think I told you guys, but I did file an insurance claim in the hopes that I would get some help with the unexpected plumbing issue, but lo and behold, it was not covered. So I don't want to be sitting with just 4,000 in here. So what I shall do is move 3,000 from the early retirement funds into the home maintenance category group, and that is going to look quite a bit better. 7,000 is 2% of the value of the house. That's still not very good. So, I might hold off for a wee bit on the replacing the HVAC system, which ironically was the driving force for all of the renovations that I was trying to do. But we're coming out of the hot season, and the HVAC does fine in the winter months. So maybe, quite possibly, the HVAC company will give me a discount if I do it over the winter months. We'll see what happens. I think I'll just sit on their callback list for now. But I'm going to leave this the way that it is. Let me see if I have anything else that's overfunded that I can move things around in. So car insurance and electrical and water are overfunded, but I don't want to touch those. Garden supplies we already talked about. I'm not touching those. Health insurance deductibles appears to be higher, but I'm not touching that one either. Helping hands, not touching that one. And I'm not touching those because I know that I need some extra help around some garden and garage projects, just because They're a little bit more than my two hands and my back can handle. Now we come into Chase should not be overfunded. I don't know if I'm gonna tackle these. I know my Apple Card didn't balance. Let me see if my Chase card balances. No. Oh, we have some Apple Cash to approve. Let's do that. Oh, I know what else I can do. Silly me, I completely forgot. Let me go to here, and you can see that this was my income for the month of August. We had $1,600 from the VOL reimbursement program at work, $3,304 from cashback, $286 from the high yield savings account, $1,000 gift from a generous family member, and $15,541.66 was from my paycheck. In the month of September, I already have $9.01 from cashback, $281.04 from the high yield savings account and the other interest for other accounts that I have, another $1,000 gift from a generous family member, and I'm sitting here with $1290.09. Some of that I had already tucked away in the please hold category group, so that's probably going to help a little bit. Let's take this money, and I'm just going to move all of it to the home maintenance category. And then see where we stand. 8293. So 8293 divided by the value of the house. We're closer to 3%. We're 255%. That's close enough. I want to be somewhere between 2 and 4%, and that is good enough considering the fact that, did I already move over all the retirement? Yes, I did. Yeah, based on where I'm at in the year, the fact that I've got severance coming up, and I've got enough other things that are slightly overfunded, that feels like a pretty stable place to land. So yes, the reason I didn't want to grab any of the overfunded amounts that are sitting in credit cards, what is it telling me I have? $77.65. I know that when I went to reconcile the Apple Card, it didn't reconcile completely right at the beginning, and I haven't dug in to figure out what the discrepancy is. So in the event I need that $77 towards the Apple Card payment, it's unlikely since these are sitting in the green, but just in case, I don't want to take that money yet. So that's it for today's session. I think we're going to call it a wrap. Very much appreciate you watching. If you like this kind of content, you know how to let me know. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to see this kind of content. Then it'll notify you when I release another video. I get paid again on the 15th. Since that's a Monday, I will likely get my pay stub on the 12th, and if that's the case, I will try to post another video next weekend and let you know if anything has developed in the saga that is the renovations. I doubt anything will. I think the next thing that's going to happen is the drywall guy showing up on the 15th. So maybe by Friday of this week I'll know that he's confirmed and we have that date solidified. But right now it's kind of a target date. So thanks again for watching. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, and bye now.